All right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a great day so far. Plenty to dive into and discuss in today's video. Some sad news, of course, that we kind of already expected, but then some follow-up news regarding that. It kind of makes the ALGS whole scene feel a little bit scary and something that I think we were all kind of skeptical about to begin with. Plenty of conversations to cover today and plenty of pro opinions out there as always that I want to make mention of. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this thing. First thing I wanted to mention here, this is kind of like a little bit of a side note. I'm not sure if you guys saw this clip, but this was unbelievable. RKN from the guard, obviously on Apex Legends, basically saying who would have thought one of the best listen-ins was coming from the esports coach. Just absolutely incredible. And people were also saying, like, why are the Apex coaches not allowed to kind of like, you know, go behind the players here and have these conversations mid-game or, you know, like in between games and stuff like that. It's kind of weird the way that they do the coaching stuff with Apex. They have to just like sit there in that chair. They're not allowed to move. I think like one guy even got up at one point and the ref came and talked to him and told him to sit down. It's just kind of weird, but this coach goes absolutely off. I know you guys can't hear and I don't even have the, you know, sound on back here, but basically he comes up to this team in R6 and he's like, yo, look, you know, you're bringing the bad vibes. Calls out one player specifically, said, you need to stop this toxicity. If something's wrong, we need to call it out. We need to figure it. He said, you need to basically decide what we're going to do. And at the very end, the casters hear how nice this coach was and how, you know, I guess coordinated he was and got this team back together. And the caster even said, I want you to have my children. So, you know, the coaching stuff honestly goes underrated for Apex. And I think most esports in general, some games, maybe you can argue you don't really need a coach, but I think games like R6 maybe is probably a good idea. Apex, honestly, we've seen some teams really get better after hiring a very good coach. And I thought that conversation was an interesting one, to say the least. Also wanted to make mention of this. This is honestly the one we all expected. Spacestation did release a video saying the memories, the plays, the dedication, and the passion. Thank you, Drop, Frex, and Zennial, and obviously announcing that their roster is done. Now, before we talk any further about this roster, the potential changes that could happen, and honestly, the follow-up that came from this that kind of made me worried about ALGS, I wanted to make mention of this video, and I want to let you guys watch it first before we dive into it. Roll the clip.
Looking back at it, I don't get as upset because I know that, you know, it was a learning experience for us as a team. Anytime there's ever like, you know, a bump in the road, we kind of figure out what we need to do to get past it.
I mean, we're definitely one of the best teams in North America. Like, even back then we were too, but it was just more so like a learning experience.
Us winning like a LAN game is just, you know, it's one of like the best accomplishments ever.
So, of course, obviously, it sucks to see this team go. It sucks to see them get out of the scene. And even Spacestation, being a pretty big organization, I mean, so big enough to where they've got the gold check mark, lets you know that they are a business over on Twitter. I mean, this is just a big time organization, especially in the esports scene. You want these kind of guys to be in your scene. And when they leave, obviously, it's a big red flag, especially after we've already had Cloud9 leave. And Cloud9 basically blamed EA and also the economic situation for not being so, I guess, apparent and not being so well handled. Then we also had G2 leave, and we don't really know if G2's coming back. It kind of seemed like they were going to, but then all of a sudden they never came back. We don't know what the latest is on that. Liquid Esports has also left the competitive scene. They don't no longer have an ALGS squad as well. So is Space Station the fourth one to bite the dust? Well, this is the unfortunate news that we had. Cutnoid, ALGS reporter as well, basically showing this site here from Unit Sean. And if you guys are not familiar with who Unit Sean is, this is actually the co-founder for SSG, and he cites that the lack of revenue share from EA was the main reason for unfortunately leaving the league. So that's just the worst thing you could possibly see for the ALGS situation. He says, we're going to miss Apex Legends and watching our team compete. It really is one of the most entertaining esports. Unfortunately, though, how the esports market is currently, without a fair revenue share partnership to help with sustainability, it's just hard to justify continuing to invest. And I do not blame him one bit. I think they make a perfect point. We all know that esports organizations have taken a massive hit this year. So many esports organizations have shut down. So many have done layoffs, and so many of their employees have honestly, you know, just kind of been let go. And it sucks to see with the state of the way everything is. A lot of even sponsorships, you know, a lot of sponsors that used to sponsor channels, they're now like not giving out as much money anymore. They're not helping or funding a lot of these team organizations or the creators themselves anymore. So it kind of was to be expected predicted that there was going to be a massive hit, and the only way it would work is if EA had that revenue share, and that was supposed to happen when they decided to bring the Apex Legends team skins out, and every like organization had their team skin to represent them. But the way it sounded is that EA did not want to share that revenue. They didn't want to give percentages. They only wanted to give flat rate in order to give and be able to sell these skins. And obviously that wasn't going to work in the long run for these organizations, but it was going to work heavily in the favor of EA. And so that's when a lot of these creators and a lot of these esports organizations decided to bail out. And I think Cloud9 also basically said the same thing, that it was EA who was not funding the ALGS scene properly, and they weren't giving proper revenue share. And I think even Snipedown said the exact same thing as well, saying that they had the exact same problems with EA. So it's not really, I guess, that out of the ordinary for EA to do something along those lines, but it is unfortunate, to say the least, to see something like that. Now, just as we begin to wrap up this video, I know it's probably been a bit of a shorter one. I wanted to make mention of this. This was actually coming from Albralelie. You guys know he has been very hot in the topical discussion of ALGS lately, as he's been doing a lot more streams and having a lot of AMA streams and giving a lot of responses. And this is where I honestly had one of the weirdest takes that I've ever experienced from Albralelie. I kind of saw some of what he was talking about, but I don't agree with most anything in this conversation, other than the fact that he gives praise to Nocturnal. Nocturnal is by far one of the best players in this game, and I definitely think XSET is going to be one of those teams to watch out for going into Split 2. I definitely think that they could probably take the dub, like not just do good. XSET could most definitely be winning. And so I'm looking for XSET to do that. I think they have that potential, but he kind of gives a little bit of a take, and I guess not necessarily to bash NRG, but kind of throw some shade that NRG maybe is not as good as we think they are as viewers. Take a look at this clip of the opinion from Albralelie.
I'd say in terms of consistency, you're probably like above Sweet. As I say it a lot, like I think Sweet is a momentum IGL. Like if he does bad early, I think, or well, let me reword this. I was talking with Petty about this earlier. Like, I think that like pretty much every player, right, when they get momentum, they run away with it. Like they do great with momentum. But some players like need momentum to like start in order to like really get going, in order to like pop off. And I think like that's like Sweet's IGL style. Like if they do bad in like 2 games, then like sometimes they just kind of crumble. But like if they win a game like in the first 2 or first 3, or like they're getting like top 5s in all 3, then like they'll do great. But if they're dying off spawn or like dying in like 15th to 18th, they kind of fold a little bit. Never see Energy have 6 bad games. Well, they don't really stream all their tournaments, so not surprised. Okay, I'm kidding. No, I mean they definitely do have some circuits where they just do really bad. They're rare where all 6 are bad. But I'm saying like when Sweet, like if Sweet, say they get a game 1 win and a game 2 top 3, like they're gonna finish first in that series.
So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about all the topics down in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. Until the next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later, Gators.